Imagine being so sex mad you don't notice a huge hornet filming you. Paul Childerley and Sergio Couto are calling in bucks in the rut in Scotland.
The buck has come steaming in from over the ridge there, a long way away.
Geoff Garrod is shooting pigeons with one eye after a wasp went for him in the pheasant pen. Ryan Charlton from Highland Outdoors showcases the super lightweight Christensen Arms Ridgeline FFT rifle. We have a competition for you to win a fabulous custom knife from Danum Blades. David has the news on the new stump, and James Marchington brings you the best hunting and shooting videos in hunting YouTube. Welcome to Fieldsports Britain. Hunting hormones can be a tricky business. Are they simmering, surging, or non-existent? And will our peeps and squeaks emulating the noise of a youngster fool the buck into thinking, where there's young, there's gonna be mum? Well, on this trip to Aberdeenshire to see our good friend Sergio Couto, we have all the bells and whistles to help create the right mood music.
They're quite different.
Yes, there is some adjustment here. So
yeah.
If I pull it all the way back.
Yeah.
Well,
That's right.
the Muppet Show.
What's that one then?
That's from the deer cast. Is the boy that makes them?
Oh yeah. Yeah, similar.
Bucks, deer did not must be like people. We don't like all the same tune.
Yeah, yeah.
You know? So it works different ways for different.
So you're saying that you need about 4 or 5 different bootalos?
Definitely.
No, I just happen to have 2 because I just picked up this jacket and with another one.
I have 2. I've actually got 2.
Yeah.
Okay, let's have every single one, please. 1, 2, 3, 4.
We're here for a couple of days with 4 outings planned across lots of different farmland landscapes, from cabbage patch bucks to valley bucks to high crops and stubble bucks, come rain or shine. Our first outing is a simple affair. We spot 2 bucks which show no or limited interest in the call, and then we stumble across a third.
What are David up? I shot him in the base of the neck, Serge. I shot him in the base of the neck. Saved me. Well, yeah, saved me. I also dropped him on the spot because he was quite charged up.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think if he was a shot heart shot, he'd have gone on over that hedge and then through here. And yeah. How far?
116.
116 was it?
Hey, pressure is off. Davy's smiling, so
Everyone's happy.
Does the flavour change just like it does with the fallow, Serge?
I don't think so. Well, I don't notice.
No. Paul, what do you think?
People say yes.
I had this conversation with Jose at on the food court the other day, and he said they're not as strong as fallow and seeker and red when they come into rut, so they're not quite as tangy, would be the word you'd use.
It's a youngster, and after a field gralloch we'll be heading to the larder. It's a 4:30 AM start and we head to some stubble fields. Although Paul is not a thermal fan when he's stalking, Sergio, who works with infrared, uses his spotter to target his calls, picking up heat sources in the thick stuff. At the moment, the bucks just aren't being unseated. Sergio then spots a buck and doe in clear fell adjacent to the stubble field. They are beautifully camouflaged and Paul needs to be dialed in.
213. I can't see it. Oh, I see him, I see him. How far is it, Serge? 213. Okay. You right, David?
The shot strikes, but the buck runs.
Deadly.
Yeah.
Take him again.
Paul gives it a second to make sure.
Well done, Paul.
Thank you.
It's a good recovery.
Okay, so we had to have a follow-up shot there, Paul, to just explain what went on.
Yeah, so the first shot, obviously, it was 213. There's quite a bit of bullet drop on that up there, so I was obviously aiming up here, a bit of an angle, and yeah, bit of a bullet drop, and it caught him at the front of the shoulder. Obviously, the front shoulder's gone, but he did a quick circle out there, and second shot was smack on the money, dropped him on the spot. We weren't all perfect all the time, you know. We shot a lot of stuff on camera, and you try to make it perfect every time. But like I say, straight in with a follow-up shot because we're in thick cover.
That's the Powerhead Blades again, though, yeah.
Powerhead Blades, yeah, the copper. So.
Do you know what? So it's 6.5. Do you know what grain they are?
They are 120 grain. So.
What have we used those on before?
We used them on Roebucks. We used them on Muntjac, Chinese, Red Deer in Scotland last year. Yeah.
As Paul is wearing his new Swazi gear, Sergio suggests a New Zealand style extraction, a Roebuck backpack.
I'll hold it. You don't have to.
Got a few ticks on him, but we'll be all right.
Look, yeah.
That one?
I'll take it. There you go.
That'll be right.
Very neat. After a power nap, it's back out again. This time a stunning valley sitting below a farm. We filmed here before, but it didn't produce anything.
A big forestry block, yeah.
Sergio sets us up in a good vantage point. A doe and kid move below us. After about half an hour, a buck stands and heads into cover about 200 metres away. We decide to wait and see if it reappears. It does, and Paul has another challenging shot.
All right. Thank you. Took my time on that one. That was not a comfortable shot. Very, 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 very cool. Ah, man.
What a location.
What a location. Beautiful. Yeah, and he come out, didn't he? Come out to have a little look at the squeak.
Yeah.
Between our two calling, he just kept coming. Brilliant. That was good. We worked for that, didn't we? Woo! I have to do a Paul Childley call as well. Little woo! They don't like that. They always stop to have a look at that one. Straight up through there.
It's another clean Aberdeenshire buck, but a dangerous one.
Yeah. Fantastic. Ah, yes. Good one to shoot. Malform, spiker. Look at that. Bit of murder buck cross. Great one to shoot that old buck as well. Old, deformed, or older buck. Yeah. Great.
Point where Sergio is, so people get a sense of where. So it's the big tree on the horizon, yeah?
Yeah, that silver birch on the horizon there. Yeah, you can see him underneath it. Yeah, nice shot.
It's a great shot down into the valley floor, but that means we need to retrieve it.
You drag him feet up first. It goes against the fur, so it's not quite. There's a bit of resistance on the grass and stuff, so it doesn't slide through so quick. And the head obviously catches in everything, especially with this big hook here. So what it does is put it on the front feet and put his head through, feet in, nice and close. If I had a bit of string, I might tie them together, but we might not need it. We give it a go and pull that up.
Because we've got
A hill climb.
up there.
Yeah. Give it a go. Let's go. Let's go.
Well, copper works then, even at 219 yards.
Yeah.
Even downhill.
Downhill.
Sergio comes to the rescue and saves us a serious climb. However, it doesn't save Paul's son Charlie from getting harnessed up and helping his dad. back to that murder buck.
People say that the roe deer fight is one of the most aggressive on the deer species. You find them with pigeon wounds. And that's because of roe deer like that. Older ones that refuse to back down. The bucks normally have 3 tines, and when they fight with each other, they all lock with itself. The problem with this type of buck is they are old, so they had many fights in the past, and the younger 3-4-year-old comes in, thinks can take them on, have a fight with it. There's no locking horns, and that one, for example, goes straight to the eye, or normally when they kill them is under here, under the armpit. I found a few dead. It's always like a punch hole right here.
With just a little bit of light left, David asks if the guys will head off into the crop for a drone shot. The guys let off a couple of peeps just in case they spark interest. Look at the top right-hand corner of the screen. The buck is coming in. Then Paul spots it.
Well, gentlemen, I watched that remotely.
We left the cameraman behind with the drone. Yeah, we went down there and searched to give a few peeps, and then the buck just come steaming in from over the ridge there, a long way away.
It was the best reaction we had, the peep, these 2 days.
Perfect, just come bounding in, and we got on the sticks, and then the drone came over the top.
Thing is, right, okay, so from my perspective, I just see you both dive to the ground and thinking, hey up, and then there's a blob, and it's like, okay.
Yeah. But I shot him right on the edge of the barley, so I couldn't put it no lower down. But actually, I shot him just right underneath the jaw, and it comes straight out on the neck. Dropped him perfect. So
40,
yeah,
50 yards.
40, 50 yards.
Is that all?
Yeah.
Once again, Sergio has delivered the goods despite the weird and wonderful behaviour of the local roe deer. If you'd like to hunt with Sergio in Scotland or Portugal, contact him via his website surcoutwildharvest.com. And for more information about the Sacco S20 and its stock options, go to sacco.fi. Thanks all who took part in that, and what an amazing aerial shot. Now, Fieldsports Nation prize draws. We gave away £145 worth of Tom's Target this week when it was iBun who entered on YouTube. Next week's prize is from Danum Blades, the excellent Yorkshire knife maker who's donated a knife priced at £325. It has Kieranite Axis glow-in-the-dark handle material and white and orange liner, so you can find it if you drop it in the dark, and it has a leather sheath. If you'd like to buy it, there's a link to the website below. If you want to win it, easiest way to enter the competition is to join the Fieldsports Nation and watch their special Tuesday night show, Fieldsports Extra. Link to that below too. Now, Chris Packham is still out to finish us. He contacted us this week to say he doesn't want to settle out of court because he wants us to pay his legal costs for taking us to court. There's an irony buried in there somewhere. Anyway, he's allowed to spend his television money on doing that if he wants. We have to survive it, and it looks like we're going to, thanks to the extraordinary support from people joining the Fieldsports Nation. And thanks also for all those who simply donated. There's a link to that donate button below, including John Duval and Tracy Moffat, who asked for a shout out. Hello, John and Tracy. Thank you. We plan to get the Poke Packham auction page up soon, where there'll be lots from a few pounds up to, well, the biggest so far is a gun on a day's shooting at Water Priory in Yorkshire, which usually goes for more than £3,500. Once we get that page up and running, I'm sure we'll be over the £30,000 mark. I said last week that our one day in court on the 6th of November would be £40,000. We have instructed lawyers who reckon it would be more like £60,000, and that's just our costs. So please keep asking people to join the Fieldsports Nation. We can do this. Link below. Next, our very own object of charity. It is David on the Fieldsports channel News Stump.
This is Fieldsports Channel News. The government has pledged to take action on the debanking scandal that affects hunts and shoots. Chancellor Jeremy Hunt this week asked the Financial Conduct Authority to investigate in order to reassure the public and increase transparency. It comes after people and companies, including gunsmith Steve Horton, had their bank accounts frozen. Steve, who owns Birmingham gunsmith Horton & Sons, says his company account was blocked twice and his firm asked to return card machines. He recently tried to acquire an engineering business unrelated to gun making and says that 75% of lenders turned him down because they deemed his gun making business was unacceptable. Steve has designed a lead shot replacement he calls Hortonium. He says the Innovate UK government grant body turned down investment for, he believes, the same reason.
It makes you feel like a criminal. And it's not just banks, it's the government organisations as well, such as Funding Circle, which is backed by the Great British Business Bank, and more organisations like that. You can't apply for grants, you can't apply for a whole number of things that are government backed, so it's not just commercial business banks who have a problem with shooting.
A Scottish gamekeeper has used his Lifetime Achievement Award to slam the Scottish Government for its deer policy. Peter Fraser, who's one of the most experienced keepers in the UK after more than 40 years working in the countryside, says a recent government decision to allow male deer to be killed all year round could decimate the domestic venison sector. The 76-year-old vice chairman of the Scottish Gamekeepers Association received the prestigious Ronnie Rose Award at the recent Moy County Fair in Inverness. It celebrates his services to conservation and education in relation to deer management. Peter says the plan to allow shooting of male deer will critically weaken stock and devalue Scottish venison. As well as giving you the headlines, sometimes we make them ourselves. Fieldsports Britain led the way with a scoop of our own last week. The national papers snapped up our story about Trace Coffey's non-attendance at the game fair, where Charlie caught up with her replacement, Coffey the cauliflower. It's not just Trace Coffey who's on the chopping board. Name the politician you think would make a great vegetable. Comments below. Basque has announced there's £2,000 worth of prizes for those taking part in this month's Best in the Field clay shooting event. It takes place at Sporting Targets in Bedfordshire from August the 19th, 2023. Fitask Sporting World Champion Ed Solomons designed the course. Ed says shooters should expect clays covering all game shooting scenarios, including high pheasant and driven grouse. There are categories for gamekeepers, women, young shots, parent and child, and a team event. Pre-booking is essential. Link below. Southern Water is to become the first water company for 20 years to face a private criminal prosecution. Fish Legal, which works with the Angling Trust, has brought the case alleging the water company mismanaged a pollution incident on the famous River Test in Hampshire 2 years ago. Most cases like this are only ever seen in civil courts. The company will appear before the bench in Southampton on September the 28th, 2023. Welsh fly fisherman and author Gwilym Hughes has launched a petition to try and protect fish stocks on Welsh rivers. Gwilym, a Wales international angler, is trying to change legislation relating to licences to cull cormorants and goosanders. He also hopes his fight to protect dwindling fish numbers for salmon, sea trout and eels in Wales will be taken on across the UK. The former police detective has petitioned the Welsh Government, urging them to change regulations, allowing year-round control on predatory birds. His petition has already gathered nearly 1,500 signatures. We will have a full interview with Gwilym in a future bulletin. Falcon racers have raised £30,000 worth of cash prizes, plus funding to get youngsters into the sport. The Brits have been proactive in showcasing their style of falconry pursuit racing using a prey bird style drone. This is them in Saudi at the end of last year. The main UK event is held at Vowley near Swindon on the 16th and 17th of September. And this year, Roy and his fellow falconers have worked hard to raise the prize pot to encourage more to train and compete, plus invest in falconry's future.
Part of that prize fund is going towards sponsoring 10 children to have an amazing immersive falconry experience, and hopefully this will give them the opportunity to venture in, have a taste at it, see if they like it, and then if they do, there's going to be support going through and enable people to come and join this fantastic sport.
Shoot foxes and you get more curlews. That's the conclusion of a new survey of grouse moors commissioned by the Game and Wildlife Conservation Trust. The GWCT survey, which has been peer-reviewed, discovered curlew pairs produce 4 times as many chicks on managed moors, helping to reverse an alarming trend in the loss of these extraordinary and iconic birds. A study by the RSPB shows curlew numbers have dwindled by 42% since 1995. A loss of habitat caused by moorland drainage and predation by animals including foxes has been blamed for their decline. The scientists surveyed 18 sites on moorland and moor edge farmland across North Wales, Northern England, the Scottish borders and the Scottish Highlands over the breeding season. YouTube took down an audiobook that presented the conservation benefits of big game hunting, then reinstated it. Sue Tidwell's book Cries of the Savannah is back on YouTube as a full-length audiobook. She says she doesn't know why YouTube took it down, but she suspects a flagging attack by antis. The story of a non-hunter's experience while on a hunting trip in the African savannah is a 14-hour long epic, read by the American writer herself. And finally, how would you like your squirrel? Social media sensation and Welsh hill farmer Gareth Wyn-Jones plans to serve a new range of squirrel burgers at a pop-up restaurant he's hosting at the Welsh Game Fair in September. Gareth is now on the hunt for a supplier of meat from the non-native grey squirrels to supply his new venture. North Wales is a grey squirrel success story, with air gunners wiping them out from the island of Anglesey to allow a thriving red squirrel population. You are now up to date with Fieldsports Channel News. Stuck in the stories, fishing for facts.
Thank you, David, and thank you to our new news writer, Andy Ford, for his script. Both Andy and David would like it if you were to click like below this film on YouTube. Thank you. Now, with the shooting season around the corner, gamekeeper Geoff Garrod takes time off to go pigeon shooting. Essex gamekeeper Geoff Garrod has a bit of a problem. He had planned to go pigeon shooting today, but his left eye is so swollen he can hardly see through it.
What happened was I was feeding me birds this morning at 6:15 this morning, and there was a wasp took a shine to the corner of my eye here, so it whacked me one, and while I was sort of like fumbling about looking for it, because it did fall on the floor, and putting it out of his misery, another one got me on the back of the head, so I hightailed it out of the pen, having fed the birds, and this is the result of it. It has obviously swollen up, and it's gone down a little bit compared to what it was. I can still see out my eye, although it looks a bit very swollen, and we're here today back on the crop protection really. Just behind us there is a field of uncut. I mean, the harvest this year has been stop, start, more stops than starts, and the pigeons are actually going on the corner, landing on top of the wheat. It's sort of semi-laid, not fully laid, so the pigeons are going on there, and there's not anywhere really that I can definitively put a hide up there to sort of like drop them in a patch, because it's sort of like, instead of being like that, it's gone about like that. Pigeons are landing on it, so what we're doing here, we're hopefully intercepting a flight line that's going to it, coming over the motorway through this little valley here. Now if they come like that for half an hour, we might have a bit of fun. So we've just built a hide in a bit of a game cover, put a few decoys out here, and we'll just see. We'll just set up and see where we go. Well, I'm not taking any notice of the decoys. When we got here, it was sort of coming across the motorway, just up main line was just coming up through this valley, just coming to the brow of the hill and going over the hedge, up the hedge there to the wheat fields behind. But it's got very wide now, flight line, so it's not concentrating here, and they're not taking any notice of the decoys. I am literally in the flight line now, so and my shooting is coming from anything in the flight line. So I've got birds on the right going past me 80 yards, you know, just that too far to have a shot. Same on the left, but then I get a little group that will come straight over top of me. So we're getting a bit of shooting, but the line's just really stretched out wide now. Yeah, the eyes are right actually. Every time I miss, I blame it on my eye. You know, I have to have an excuse for something. But no, in general, it's all right actually. I think the swelling's going down a little bit now. So I think by the end of the day, we'll be all right, you know. The swelling would have gone down, but it's not affecting me as what I thought it would do. Well, we're probably coming to the end of the day now. Flight lines seem to have dried up. It was entertaining to start with. They didn't decoy, not one of them attempted to decoy. They didn't divert either. You know, they were just hell bent on getting this wheat behind. If they were in shooting range, obviously good, but a lot of them were just passing us 80 yards to the left, to the right. But you know, we ended up with a reasonable afternoon. And I'm just happy 2 or 3 hours sitting in the hide, shooting a few pigeons, crop protecting.
For more about the Browning Maxus that Geoff is shooting, see browning.eu. For Ely cartridges, go to elyhawklimited.com, and for the Jack Pike clothing, it's jackpike.co.uk. Thanks, Geoff. Now, one of the big debates in the Carter Jonas Game Fair Theatre this summer was Big Bag Days. Following that debate, we put up a poll on Instagram and YouTube. Thanks to all who took part in it. Are big bags of shot game acceptable in this day and age, we asked. It was 50-50 on YouTube and a few more against than for on Instagram. The main theme in the comments was the importance of seeing game going into the food chain. A couple of weeks ago, I put together Shooting Times editor Patrick One Duck Galbraith, sporting agent Mark 500 Brace Osborne, and the voice of reason Roger Draycott from the Game and Wildlife Conservation Trust. And this is what they said. Let us take the new government contention that the land has to wash its face. If shooting is one of the ways it does that, what's the problem?
Well, I think there's a misconception that, you know, Arundel can do wonderful things, but only Arundel can do wonderful things. I mean, you'll meet farmers in Suffolk who are on 300 acres, on 400 acres, who are running shoots that aren't commercial in any way, who are doing their own little bit. I don't think it's just the case that sort of the big boys are the answer in terms of conservation and, you know...
Mark, make the case for...
No, with respect, that is absolute rubbish. The fact is that...
So you think small areas can't do anything in terms of conservation?
Lots and lots of small areas do fantastic things, but saying small is good and big is bad is just a ridiculous oversimplification.
But I don't think that's what I said.
No,
I don't think that's
yes,
what I said.
Yes, you did. You're also...
When did I say that?
No, sorry, hold on. You're also suggesting that someone, because two people happen to have got one a family in an estate in Norfolk and one in Sussex who are very rich landowners, you quote that example as being good. There are very good commercial shoots, whatever commercial may be. I can see someone in the audience in front of us now who runs what you might describe as a commercial shoot, but that's part of the economy of a farming and shooting estate. Is that bad? No, I don't think that running a commercial shoot...
I think you're having an argument with yourself here.
No, I'm certainly not. Is a bad thing. The fact of life is you can have good shoots which are smaller, you can have good shoots which are medium-sized, and good shoots which are bigger, and the contribution that they make is relevant, is dependent upon how they're run.
Who here believes that big bags are going to have an effect on public perceptions about shooting, negative effects? Quite a lot of you. Who here believes that it's irrelevant, that the numbers don't matter at all? Yeah, just a couple. Okay, so The world is with you, Patrick, in many ways.
Always, always.
Thanks to all who took part in that, and you can watch the whole of that debate on YouTube, link in the description below. Now, do you want to go boar hunting? Sergio, who featured in the main item this week, is Portuguese and has made available 2 driven boar hunts in his home country of Portugal to Fieldsports Channel viewers. Sergio will donate to our legal fund a percentage of every booking we send his way. You may recall both Paul Childerley and Roy Lupton going on Sergio's Portuguese hunts. There are 10 guns each available on these 2 upcoming hunts, one of them the 9th to the 12th November 2023 and the other the 23rd to the 27th of February 2024. 3 days each, everything is included apart from flights and bringing your own rifle. Book via Sergio's website, link to that below. Next up, Ryan Charlton reviews the super lightweight Christensen Arms Ridgeline FFT rifle.
So here we have the Christensen Arms Ridgeline FFT rifle. Super lightweight stalking rifle weighing in at just 5.3 pounds. This features Christensen Arms flash forged technology FFT rifle stock, which is made out of carbon fibre. The flash forged technology manufacturing process allows Christensen to also add some really great touches to further reduce the weight and make the rifle even cooler to own. So the bolt knob itself is carbon fibre, the hinged floor plate for the 4-shot magazine is also carbon fibre. The FFT process really dampens vibration. It's dead to shoot. It means that you can make a faster follow-up shot and you can see your first shot land where you want it to. The barrel's carbon fibre as well, and like all carbon barrels, it's got a larger profile than an equivalent weight steel barrel, which makes it stiffer and lighter. Muzzle's threaded 5824 UNEF, so you can add any muzzle device that you would like, be it a muzzle brake or a silencer. This is available in all good gun shops at a retail price of $3,549.99. It's the perfect rifle for anybody wanting something short, light, accurate, that you can carry around on the hill all day without fatiguing yourself when the opportunity presents right at the end of an arduous walk uphill.
Thanks, Ryan. Staying on kit, thanks to Rue Ruddick, who owns a gun shop in Hampshire called Targets and Tins. It has a raffle running in the shop at the moment to win a scope, a Zerotech 4-20x50 second focal plane, which will raise around £300, which they are kindly donating to us. If you'd like to enter that, there's a link to it below. Thanks, Rue. Now from kit to the wider world of hunting and shooting on YouTube, brought to you by James Marchington, it is Hunting YouTube.
This is Hunting YouTube, which aims to show the best hunting and shooting videos that YouTube has to offer. First up this week, here's a dramatic buffalo charge expertly dealt with in this film from the North Cape Professional Hunting School. The Edgun Leshy channel has been testing exploding .22 pellets on squirrels. Now they've turned it up a notch with exploding .25 caliber pellets. It's pretty graphic, but there's no denying the knockdown power. More airguns from Richard Leonard, who's back and in New Zealand hunting wild turkeys with a .25 caliber Air Arms S510. Back in the UK, the weather has delayed the harvest, meaning some crops are suffering a lot of pigeon damage. Rob Speed has a busy few hours decoying over a crop of laid barley. Here's the latest from ShotCam. Top US shooters Brad Kidd and David Radulovich compare their techniques and share some top tips on accuracy and consistency. Johnny from TGS Outdoors is at Grimsthorpe with Ed Solomons. They're pushing their guns and cartridges to the limit, trying to smash a clay at more than 150 yards. Here's a lovely film from the Hunt on Demand channel, out with a Krieghoff double rifle in Germany, hunting deer and wild boar. And finally this week, Alan from Danum Outdoors is hunting Roebuck in the rut. It's wet and windy, but his perseverance pays off. That's it for this week. We've put all these films into a playlist for you. Click on the I symbol top right or check this film's description. If you have a YouTube film you'd like us to pop into the weekly top 8, email Charlie the link, charlie@fieldsportschannel.tv.
Well, that's it for this week. If you haven't done so already, please whiz over to our website, fieldsportschannel.tv. You can click like us there on Facebook and on Instagram. You can follow us on Twitter, subscribe to us on YouTube, pop your email address into our register page and we'll contact you about this show, Fieldsports Britain. It's at 7 PM UK time every Wednesday. And this has been Fieldsports Britain. Good hunting, good shooting, good fishing, and goodbye.